Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5 p.m. Before we get started, I want to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Red River Métis. We affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities, including the national government of the Red River Métis, in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. There's a moved by Councillor Ray and seconded by Councillor Bellemare that we have one agenda item. We need to have one addition, and that's item 5A, outstanding water accounts added to taxes. All those in favor of this? Anyone opposed? That's carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin and seconded by Councillor Ray that the meeting agenda is approved as amended. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare and seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be it resolved that we council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting, and that's our council meeting from November the 17th. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? And it's carried. Moving right into the consent agenda, a couple of action items. Approval of city accounts due by year end. Be it resolved that council hereby authorizes the mayor to ensure review and payment of all accounts falling due by year end in accordance with the city's municipal tendering and procurement policy. And that's recommended by the city manager. Also recommending the adoption of interim operating financial plan for the period from January 1, 2026 until the adoption of the 2026 financial plan. Further be resolved, in accordance with Section 163 of the Municipal Act, the City of Dauphin has made the following provisional estimates of operating expenditures for the period beginning January 1 until the adoption of our plan, based on prorated annual expenditures from the beginning of the year to the anticipated date of the financial plan public hearing. So there are a number of items that I'll outline here under general operating requirements. Under general government services, the amount estimated is $766,266. Under protective services, the estimate is $2,090,774. Transportation services is projected to be $1.184594 million. Environmental services is $557,200. Public health and welfare services is $17,125. Environmental development services is $154,463. Economic development is $356,639. And finally, recreation and cultural services, the estimate is $1,168,008. And under the utility operating requirements, total water and sewer estimate is $1,307,988. And those are recommended also by the city manager, and that we will transfer of excess general and utility revenues to reserve funds. So whereas the Municipal Act allows the municipality to transfer excess revenue to reserve funds on an annual basis, be resolved that council authorizes any excess general revenues reported in the 2025 fiscal year to be transferred to the general reserve in accordance with the Municipal Act, subsection 169 bracket 2 and 169 bracket 3, up to a maximum of $1 million. And further be resolved that council authorizes any excess utility revenue reported in 2025 to be transferred to the water and sewer reserve up to a maximum of $750,000. Charlotte?
I know this is consent agenda, but just briefly, 1 million in the general reserve does not mean that we're going to have a $1 million surplus. It just means that that's the maximum amount that we can transfer. Same for the utility. It's not meaning that we're going to have a $750,000 surplus. That's just the maximum that we can transfer.
Thank you. So further, there are a few other things that provision to withdraw from the snow and ice reserve fund. Be resolved that council authorizes the withdrawal of $100,000 from this fund or the amount of the actual snow and ice removal costs that exceed the 2025 budget, whichever is the lesser. 2025 added taxes, be resolved that council approves the 2025 added taxes as per Schedule A was attached. And same for the 2025 council taxes supplemental. And be resolved that council approves the 2025 council taxes as per Schedule B, which is attached in your package. And those are recommended by the finance and tax clerk. And further be resolved that council approves the schedule of the City of Dauphin regular council meetings slated for 2026. That's included in your packages, Schedule C. There's a couple of outstanding water accounts added to taxes. Roll 0157900, $179.34. The tenant did not pay the final water bill. And the same for roll number 0132400, $829. And the previous tenant also did not pay the water bill. A couple of filing items. We have Manitoba News release on the Justice and Criminal Property Forfeiture Fund from the Premier and the Transport Infrastructure regarding the overpass north of Carberry at the Trans-Canada Highway and Highway number 5. We have the News Digest from Mountain View School Division from November the 10th, the Chamber of Commerce Chamber Matters December newsletter, the Dauphin Ag Society, a letter indicating their 2025 contributions to the facilities at the fairgrounds, the DRS facility, and Health Plus newsletter from December from Prairie Mountain Health. So moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Ray, that all those items listed in red under item 5 be approved and form part of these minutes. All in favor? Anyone opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Bellemare, that we accept as information the corporate report from the city manager. Charlotte, is there anything you want to highlight in your report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One of the things I wanted to highlight was that City of Dauphin and Menegozebe, or Pine Creek First Nation, is working together on a community economic development initiative. The acronym is CEDI, and it's a partnership between the Council for the Advancement of Native Development Officers, or CANDO, and the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, FCM. And so through our relationship that we built with the addition to reserve at the south end of Dauphin and the subsequent construction of the Petro-Canada gas station, we thought this opportunity might be something good for both of our communities, considering that Pine Creek has further land that they'd like to develop, and we wanted to work together. So through this CEDI partnership, we've applied to get funding that, and if approved, it would be a facilitator would be provided and a framework for discussions would be provided, and we would get together and talk about our communities and our hopes and dreams for economic development for both of us, and find out where we can work together. So we had a meeting in November. There was several representatives from the city, and it was like an interview. And then Menegozebe also did the same thing from their side. And I'm not sure if we're going to hear back by the end of the year or if it's going to be early in 26. But that is something that we're really hoping gets approved, and then we can work together on that. And that's all that I wanted to highlight today.
Anyone have any questions for Charlotte about anything in her report? Councillor Sobering.
Yeah, just I see you have some ongoing for the foreman position. Is any good leads or any progress on that front?
I will say that we had a handful of applications, and we do have a second interview scheduled later this week.
Anyone else? Okay, if not, call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, carried. Moved by Bellemare, seconded by Lachlan. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the corporate report from the deputy city manager. Lisa, is there any highlights or things you want to bring to our attention out of your report?
Thank you, Mayor Boziak. November was Radon Action Month, and I spoke more fully about the city's radon initiatives in my October report. But I just wanted to highlight that I will be hosting a radon information session tomorrow, December 9th at 7 p.m. at the Dauphin Public Library. This session will feature presentations from Health Canada, the Manitoba Lung Association, and Radon Matters, offering residents evidence-based guidance on radon risks, testing, and mitigation. And at this event, the city will be officially launching our giveaway of 100 free long-term radon test kits. These kits will help residents test their homes this winter when radon levels are typically at their highest. And the session will continue to advance our radon awareness and prevention efforts, ensuring that residents have the tools and knowledge they need to reduce exposure and protect their long-term health. So we're hoping to see a good turnout at our radon information session tomorrow evening. Thanks.
Anyone have any questions for Lisa? Okay, all in favor? Anyone opposed? That report motion is carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be resolved that the finance accounts having been examined by council be authorized and approved. We had 52 checks in the recent total for a total of $949,121.67. There were no voided checks in the current or past ranges, and we had 3 electronic fund payments for a total of $16,159.95. Questions or comments about anything in that report? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Be resolved that council accepts the unaudited financial statements for the period ending October 31st, which include the general fund balance sheet and income statement and the utility fund balance sheet and income statement. Any questions or comments regarding these reports? Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be resolved that council accepts as information the reserve report for the period ending October 2025. Any questions about the reserve report? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Be resolved that we accept as information the budget variance analysis for the period ending October 2025. Any questions or comments regarding this report? Call for the question. All in favor? Moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be resolved that we accept as information the following engineering reports, and that's from the Director of Public Works. He had 2 reports for October and November. Bernardo, is anything you wanted to highlight? Highlight, not word for word. Highlight, because Sean's got to get home.
Yeah, it's I think what I would like to highlight is the ongoing lagoon expansion upgrades, wherein we shell out 50,000 for for the change order, because it's a executive decision that we have done in consultation with our finance director, because what they found out is the design of 11,500 is couldn't be attained. But the one that we have now is 8,230 cubic meter of wet weather flow, wherein but it's still our maximum wet weather flow is 6,280. So we decided to add another 50,000 to gain another 9,800 cubic meter of wet weather flow. This is for in anticipation of a future development that we have. We did not go for 11,750 cubic meter per day because it entails a lot of costing. And for 9,800, the utility manager is say that is very good for now and for 10, 20 years. Okay, and then there is a with our pavement, we have a budget estimate of 383, but we only our bid cost is something like 297, and the actual cost is 323,000, which the variance cost of 25,000 because of the oh no, sorry, it's for the CIPP lining. Because we have some laterals that we open up, because instead of the Maple and 11th Avenue, we were not able to do some televising, and it's a good thing that we will be buying our own, so we could identify which one we will be doing. And then with that, we just changed order to 6th Avenue, wherein we added more length. And I think the one significant report that I would like to do is the Houghton Road pavement study, wherein the budget is 50,000, but we only spent around 11,000. And then the suggestion given by the consultant is diamond grinding, but doing some research is only good if the pavement has no major structural damage. But with Houghton Road it's not so good structurally. So I am checking with road glazing option, and I am still searching how much will it cost. But it will be cost cheaper because we'll just doing the rubblizing and then putting 2 inches of asphalt. I think that's all.
Does anyone have any questions for Bernardo? I know there's lots of numbers and stuff in that report, and I appreciate the detail for sure. Councillor,
Okay. I was going to say, thank you again for the pictures. I know I've mentioned pictures before. At some point, I'd be interested in a tour of that lagoon area. So
What's that?
I said I'd be interested in a tour because,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
there's a
I've been
lot of stuff.
asking. Yeah, I've been asking them about the timelines and then how much is the actual cost, because they have changes in project manager there, and yeah, it will be good. The good idea.
And just further, I know we were kind of teasing Bernardo because one report he had said something about some project was like 17% finished or whatever. And
Yeah.
I'm on another committee and they had a whole list of construction projects and they were all like 23% finished, 67% finished, 73. So yeah, that's just I guess what industry does. So thank you.
Yeah, actually, when I asked the current project manager, I asked them, "What's your physical accomplishment?" Said 53%. It can't be because he included other factor like materials and then the shop drawing. No, I don't like that. I want physical accomplishment, not what's it called this? I blowed up accomplishment.
anyone else? Councillor Sobring?
Yeah, I see on letter E under wish list, the crosswalk at Vermilion got approval through MTI. So did we always have that, or is that new? Like,
Yeah, actually, this wish list was originated when we did some walking there, and I just put it as my wish list because I really wanted to have that done. And fortunately, we have a good good report from that highways is accepting our proposal to have it done. It will just do some like a sidewalk extension. Yeah. So next report, I will be removing that because
all
yeah.
right, you can put 99% complete then
Yeah.
on this one. Okay,
And
thank you.
and that wish list comes from you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know. That's why I always ask about it. So, thank you.
Anyone else? That's good. Okay, call for the question then. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Ray, that we accept the engineering report, engineering staff report from the building inspector. Any questions about the building inspector's report? Question, comment? No. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Stakilo, be resolved that we accept the protective services report from the bylaw enforcement officer. Questions or comments regarding the bylaw enforcement report? All in favor? Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. We accept the protective services report from the animal services officer for December. Questions or comments about animal services report? All in favor? Opposed? Moved by Councillor Stobring, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be resolved that council accepts the minutes from the Dauphin Vet Services Board meeting, the regular meeting of November the 21st. Questions or comments regarding this? No? All in favor? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Sobring and seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Whereas the property located at 19 Memorial Boulevard, formerly operated as a restaurant with attached residential suites, was purchased by 100598852 Manitoba Limited in May 2020 and has had since been inactive and has had inactive utilities since January 25th of 2024. And whereas the building has deteriorated significantly over time and has been the subject of multiple complaints and safety concerns, including identification by both the RCMP and Public Health in 2023 as a hazard due to open access and unsafe conditions, and the building has remained boarded up and unoccupied since that time. And whereas the condition of the property is in violation of City of Dauphin Property Standards Bylaw 10, 2019, which requires all buildings to be maintained in a manner that does not create a hazard or cause substantial depreciation to neighboring properties. And whereas repeated correspondence, inspections, and outreach to the property owner have not resulted in meaningful progress towards rehabilitation or reuse of the building, and no plan has been submitted to return the property to a safe and usable condition. And whereas due to prolonged vacancy, continued deterioration, and absence of corrective action, the city issued a demolition order on the October the 9th, 2025, under the authority of the Municipal Act and Property Standards Bylaw 10, 2019. And whereas the property owner appealed the demolition order and the city held an appeal hearing on November the 3rd, at which time council reviewed all submissions, evidence, and representations provided, be it resolved that council denies the appeal submitted by 100598852 Manitoba Limited and hereby upholds the demolition order issued on October 9th for the property located at 19 Memorial Boulevard. Further be resolved that the owner, 100598852 Manitoba Limited, is hereby directed to complete the demolition and removal of the building and all the associated debris within 30 days of the date of this resolution in accordance with the requirements set out in the demolition order. And further be resolved that failure to comply within the required time frame may result in the city undertaking the work and adding the cost of the demolition, including a hazardous materials test and disposal of material, to the property taxes as permitted under the Municipal Act. Any questions or comments regarding this motion? Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Whereas municipal tendering of procurement policy 421 provides guidelines for the sale of surplus vehicles and equipment. And whereas at the regular meeting of March 24th, 2025, Council approved the purchase of a 2025 model Freightliner cabin chassis, top mount, and closed pumper for the City of Dauphin, and further approved through a resolution dated September the 10th, 2025, that the 2011 Crimson Spartan fire pumper engine be advertised for sale on an as-is basis via a competitive RFQ process in accordance with Policy 4.2.1. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memo dated November the 18th from the Fire Chief advising that the surplus pumper was advertised for sale through the City of Dauphin and the Manitoba Association of Fire Chiefs websites, with 2 submissions received by the November 14th closing, and recommending the acceptance of an offer submitted by the City of Portage in the amount of $285,000 for the unit. Further be resolved that Council approves the sale of the pumper to the City of Portage for the amount of $285,000 in accordance with the RFP process conducted under the Municipal Tendering Procurement Policy 421. Questions or comments regarding this? Call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. I'd like to give Fire Chief Avery credit for getting that done and making that such an expedient process. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Ray. Whereas the regulations of Manitoba's Emergency Measures Act requires municipal emergency plans to be reviewed and updated yearly, be it resolved that Council accepts as information the 2026 Municipal Emergency Plan for the City as reviewed and updated by the Municipal Emergency Coordinator and the City Manager. Questions or comments regarding this? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Whereas the city participates in the Dutch elm disease tree removal program through the Manitoba Economic Development Investment, Trade, and Natural Resources Branch, and whereas on October the 23rd of this year, the city released a RFP for the removal of 189 diseased Dutch elm trees as identified by the Forestry and Peatlands Branch. Be it resolved that council accepts the information, a memo dated December the 5th from the Deputy City Manager noting that one RFP was received for the removal of the diseased trees for the 2025-26 contract year and recommends that the contract be awarded to Tree Pro, care of Jordy Guzin of Altona, Manitoba, for a total of $76,601.70, including GST. Further be resolved, the council agrees with this recommendation and awards the contract to Tree Pro of Altona for a total of $76,601.70, including GST, with the work to be completed on or before February 27th of 2026. Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We've had these guys before, right? We've done work before. Yeah.
Yes, 3 times before.
Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Sikilo. Whereas the 2025 financial plan identified funding for the purchase of a specialized camera nozzle for the city's sewer jet equipment, and whereas the Clean Site camera nozzle offered by Joe Johnson Equipment is unique in nature and therefore multiple quotes could not be obtained in accordance with the city's procurement policy due to the absence of comparable suppliers, be it resolved that council accepts this information, a memo dated December 2nd from the utility manager noting that the manufacturer has now completed the development of the nozzle and camera unit with a final cost of $55,500 plus taxes and shipping, and recommending to proceed with the purchase under the 2025 budget allocation. Further be resolved, the council agrees with the utility manager's recommendation and authorizes the purchase for said costs and as identified in the 2025 plan, notwithstanding the requirements for multiple quotes under the tender procurement policy. Questions or comments? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Ray. Whereas the city is part of the established Dauphin Vet Services Board, and whereas the province requires parties of the Dauphin Vet Services District Board to sign an agreement for the operation of a veterinary services district under the Vet Services Act, be resolved that council authorizes the mayor and the city manager to sign and seal the 2026 Form 1 Dauphin Vet Services Board agreement to be effective for the year 2026. Questions or comments? Just want to acknowledge Councillor Daly's commitment to this board, and he's also been appointed to a provincial vet board because of his work on our board. So good work for Councillor Daly. All in favor? Yes, carried. Moved by Councillor Sobring, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas the city is proposing to install a crosswalk with rectangular rapid flashing beacons across 2nd Avenue Northwest at 2nd Street Northwest, adjacent to Vermilion Park. And whereas this part of 2nd Avenue falls under the jurisdiction of MIT or MTI, Manitoba Transportation Infrastructure, and MTI is required to provide conditional approval prior to construction. The application for which includes confirmation of council's intent to undertake the project at the city's cost, execution of an MTI indemnification agreement, and provision of a certificate of liability insurance naming MTI as an additional insured. Be resolved, the council accepts information, an application to install crosswalk at 2nd Avenue Northwest and 2nd Street Northwest, and the required MTI indemnification agreement and a memorandum dated December 8th from the project and development manager recommending the approval of the agreement, and further be resolved that council agrees with the manager's recommendations, confirms the intent to install a crosswalk and the RRFB units at the location at 100% cost to the city, and authorizes the MTI indemnification agreement to be signed and sealed by the city manager on behalf of the city. And further be resolved that council directs administration to provide MTI with the required certificate of liability insurance naming MTI engineering branch as an additional insured in order to proceed with the approval for this project. Whoa, question, Councillor Bellemare.
Okay, so how does the timeline work? Because we have to make a sidewalk for this, right? So we make the sidewalk first and then it's installed. So this is the 2026 project?
It is a 2026 project, correct. And your order of install the sidewalk and then put the crosswalk up is correct.
Other questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Whereas the city proposes to install 2 benches, 2 garbage receptacles, and associated concrete pads along Kingsway Trail adjacent to First Avenue Southeast, which is a project identified in the city's 2026 budget with an estimated cost of $8,000. Be resolved that council accepts as information a memo from the project and development manager advising that the Dauphin District Community Foundation has approved a grant in the amount of $3,802 in support of this project, and recommending the execution of the Community Foundation's terms of grant agreement, which outline the terms, conditions, etc., and any recognition obligations associated with the approved funding. Further be resolved that council agrees with the project and development manager's recommendations and authorizes the terms of grant agreement with the foundation for the $3,802 grant awarded for the Kings Trail project to be signed and sealed by the mayor and city manager. Questions or comments? Well, it's great to see that we got a little bit of help for this piece of trail work. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be resolved that bylaw 1325, being a bylaw of the city to prescribe fees, fines, and charges for municipal services, now be read a second time. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Sobring, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be it resolved that bylaw 13/2025, being a bylaw of the city of Dauphin to prescribe fees, fines, and charges for municipal services, be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the mayor and the city manager. The third reading obviously is a recorded vote, so we'll go down the list. Councillor Sobring in favor, Deputy Mayor Loughlin in favor, Councillor Stakilo.
Yeah, in favor.
Thank you. Councillor Bellemare. Yes. Councillor Ray. Councillor Daly is absent, and I'm in favor. Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Stakilo and seconded by Councillor Ray. Be resolved that we accept as information the following community event, information regarding the Dauphin Hero Club Christmas dinner on December the 17th. Question, Councillor Bellemare.
Yes, does anyone know if you have to buy tickets in advance or just show up, or?
I'm assuming by the poster that you'd have to probably contact them to buy tickets in advance, but that's just an assumption. Sorry, I don't know for sure. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be resolved that we accept the council reports for today's meeting on December the 8th, and I'll start with Councillor Ray because he looks ready.
I am. Thank you very much, Mayor Boziak. November 17th was our last regular council meeting. On the 19th, I attended a Community Safety Wellbeing Project team meeting with CCFSC. In the morning, in the afternoon, I was at the City Hall for an active transport committee meeting. November 25th to 27th, I attended AMM held in Winnipeg. I thought both motivational speakers, Kendall Netmaker and Jennifer Jones, did a great job. And also, I thought our meetings with the ministers went very well. November 29th, I took part in our Christmas Parade of Lights. I would like to commend our staff for the time they put in on this year's float because it looked fantastic, and I'm disappointed we didn't win. December 1st, I attended our budget meeting here in council chambers. On the 5th, my wife and I took in the Christmas Staff Appreciation Supper held at Obsolete. A very well-organized and fun event as usual. And again, kudos to Lisa and Trudy and all the staff that were involved putting that on. It was great. And finally, just a reminder, the Dauphin Jazz Concert Bands are putting on their annual Christmas concert at the WAC tomorrow night from 7 till 9. And also, I'd just like to take this time to wish everyone a safe and happy holiday. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. Councillor Bellemare, you're next.
All right, thank you. November 19th, Riverside Cemetery meeting. On the 20th, both Watson Liaison and City Beautification meetings. And on the 25th to the 27th, I too attended the AMM conference in Winnipeg. And Charlotte and Lisa in their reports gave lots of info on the speakers and the events and the resolutions. It was really well organized and worthwhile. I also appreciated that the Minister of Health was available for questions by delegates during a workshop slot. And this is the first time that this has happened at an AMM convention. December 1st, capital project discussion. The second, a Dauphin Public Library meeting where we honored Janice Barclay, who had been on the library board and board chair for like 25 years, and she is now retiring. So we had cake and celebrated and thanked her. And on the 5th, I too attended the staff appreciation party. The Santa Claus parade, beautifully lit, very well attended, tons of people out, even though it was kind of a cool evening. So thanks to all the organizers and those who entered floats. And city staff made delicious candy floats. Who knew? You can put this in the Herald. Who knew you could make lollipops out of swim noodles if you just bend them hard enough and in the right way. And I also attended the Christmas tree auction in support of the Community Foundation with the decorated trees. There were 18 of them this year, up from 12 last year, and they were delivered to families in our communities the next day. These are families who otherwise likely wouldn't have had a Christmas tree. The trees were very creatively decorated, and the city staff won the prize for the most beautiful tree award, and that was certainly well deserved. There are dried orange slices and plaid bows and acorns and all kinds of cool stuff. People are probably noticing the gifts of light trees are up again in the CN Park. Thank you to the organizers who set this up on a brutally cold Saturday. And thank you to the community members who support this project while honoring their loved ones. The Rotary Club puts all money raised back into other community projects, so make sure you stop by and enjoy the beauty and the memories shared there. And best wishes to all community members and my fellow council people and staff people here as they celebrate the holiday season with their friends and family. Thank you.
Councillor Stakilo, you're next. You're not in your seat, but you're next up. So take it away.
Well, I am in a seat, so hopefully that's noted as well. But thank you, Mayor Boziak. For myself, December 17th, regular council meeting. December 19th, economic development meeting. On December 20th, we had an airport board meeting. December 1st, in attendance for the budget meeting. And on the 5th, as mentioned, I too was in attendance at the staff appreciation holiday celebration at Obsolete. And I want to echo what Councillor Ray mentioned. It was a very well organized and great event. So thank you to all the staff involved with that. Very thoughtful. And also at the event, we celebrated a lot of milestones for city staff, and just want to say thank you to all of the recipients on their milestone recognition. At 30 years, Leonard Furcolo, that's an amazing accomplishment. And 10 years, Gavin Burnett, Lisa Cadet, Jeff Hume, Ember Kuchar, and Jason Lobert. And at 5 years, Nick Bombing, Conrad Demray, Evan King, and Chris Secord. And we also were able to celebrate some of the retirements of Grant Bombing and Gail Brunin. So it was an excellent event to be at. And again, thanks very much. I was unable to attend the parade as I was out of town, but I did hear that and saw the pictures of the float, and just want to thank staff for that too. It looked great, it's very well appreciated that staff took the time to get that ready and be able to participate. So that's fantastic. I too just want to wish everybody a wonderful holiday season, a Merry Christmas, and that ends my report. Thanks.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Laughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For me, November 17th, regular council meeting at City Hall. On the 20th, I was at a city beautification meeting here at City Hall as well. The 25th and 26th, as mentioned, the Association of Manitoba Municipalities concert and meeting, or conference. Was there singing? There was an O Canada singer, so that's technically right. That was in Winnipeg on the 25th and 26th, as mentioned by a number of councillors. Just good talks with ministers and everyone there. It's always good to meet around with those people, and obviously that's the one until the election next year. So hopefully looking forward to more of those in the future. December 1st, planning and priorities in the budget meeting here at City Hall. On the 5th, I as well was at the staff party at Obsolete Brewing, and I echo what councillors have said. Just a great job by staff from the organization and fund standpoint for that event. Just a great event as well. A couple things, or just one thing, the Dauphin Kings Tractor Lotto is happening this Sunday, so make sure you get your tickets. It's always fun to be a part of that and give out over $150,000 in cash and prizes. So like I said, the draw itself is this Sunday at 4 o'clock, so you've got just under a week to get your tickets. And if you get your tickets, you too could be as cool as Ted Ray, who won the 50-50 at last year's Dauphin Kings Tractor Lotto. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we will see you in 2026. And that ends my report.
Councillor Sobering, you're next.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I was at the November 17th regular meeting and the subsequent PNP meeting. For my committees, we had cemetery. We had a meeting to provide a budget for the upcoming year. We also had a meeting with Johnson Company Law, just in regards to some clarity on how we can manage our funds that sit in perpetuity. We had an economic development meeting. It was kind of a smaller get-together as everybody's busy with the holidays, but we had some great discussion. We had a handy van meeting. I was in attendance at a handy van meeting as well. We're always on the lookout for drivers, and it's a very busy organization. And then on the fun side, I did get to go and walk alongside, ride on the City of Dauphin float. It was excellent, well decorated. I do agree. I think we should have won that one too, but that's okay. It's not about the prizes. You get the warm feeling. It was full and it was cold, and everybody sitting watching. They were you could tell the Christmas cheer was in the air, so that was really good. And then the city staff party, staff appreciation, that was also a really fun event. It was tasty food, entertaining, and it was just a good get together to recognize the people that have been working, new and old and retired, and just a really fun night. I helped with the Gifts of Light setup, as Councillor Bellemare mentioned, on Saturday, and we did a lighting on Sunday night. It's been a busy section of time with the holidays wrapping up, so I just encourage everybody to enjoy the season, and Merry Christmas, and all the best in the new year. Until the next meeting, I guess. That's my report.
Thank you, Councillor Sobering. Jake, you got a student report for us?
Lately, the DRCSS music teacher has been organizing a musical to be performed by the students sometime in April next year. Every student who I've seen participate in it seems to be very motivated to perform in front of a live audience. The play is going to be Mamma Mia, and the music teacher, Andrew Coombs, has been rehearsing with the young actors to create an incredible experience for both the students and the viewers. In other news, there was an assembly held today between 11:13 and 12:17 to announce the official start of our new Indigenous drum group. The group then performed alongside Mackenzie Middle School's group. The performance was then followed by a free meal for every student cooked by the head chef of the Culinary Arts Department to celebrate.
Holy moly, that's pretty fast. You should run for council. You could shorten our meetings. Sean would like that. I've been out of the loop for a while, but I surprised everybody, and Trudy especially, by saying, I'll be back for this meeting, and she had to do a whole bunch of work. So I apologize publicly for making you jump through all the extra hoops. But it's good to be back, and hope everybody has a good holiday season. And with that, I will call for the question to accept all the council reports. All in favor? Motion is carried and moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be resolved that the meeting be recessed at 5:45.